Hello there, my very good friends. On today's wrestling news, what on earth is Triple H thinking? WWE's highest paid wrestlers have been revealed. WWE's biggest benched wrestler might be back very, very soon. And is there backstage heat on Mr. Iguana? I'm Andy. This is the news. Stepping in before I vanish again for another 9 days or so. But we got a bunch of stuff to talk about. There's so many interesting stories floating around today that we had to do a video, even though Phil and Gareth are off enjoying themselves on holiday in various locations. Let's begin this one by talking about Triple H and WWE booking, specifically relating to Gunther versus Jey Uso from this week's episode of Raw. So obviously, I mean, I don't need to give a spoiler warning. It was 6 days ago. But yeah, Gunther dethroned Jey Uso as World Heavyweight Champion on Raw this week. It came about a month and a half after Jey, of course, won the belt in Las Vegas at WrestleMania. A short world title reign by WWE's modern standards. There was no real interference from Seth Rollins, who is, of course, the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. It was pretty much just a clean, straight-up victory for Gunther, who choked him out, put him to sleep, and regained the belt. The story is in match that he learned from his mistake. He got rendered unconscious. I shouldn't say tapped out. He didn't tap out. He got rendered unable to continue in a sleeper hold by Jey at WrestleMania, so he reversed that. He countered it. Good stuff. Good little story there. But you know, not the most ceremonious way for a world champion to lose the belt. Rikishi's pissed about this, by the way. Rikishi's mad on this podcast. But look, Rikishi's commenting on it from the perspective of a father. So hey, look, you have to apply that, I think, when you're looking at the criticism that he has. Although people have rightly pointed out that actually 9 of John Cena's and 9 of Randy Orton's world title reigns were actually shorter than the one Jey had. So, hey, it's an interesting one to pick apart nonetheless. But the story that we're really covering here is why they did it. Why did they do it? Apparently, according to Dave Meltzer in the Wrestling Observer newsletter, this was so that Gunther versus Goldberg on the 12th of July, Saturday night's main event, can be for the world title. Apparently, it's going to be the main event of Saturday night's main event. That is the same day as All In Texas. So, you know, the counter programming continues in big 2025. Apparently, Goldberg versus Gunther was always going to be a retirement match for Goldberg, obviously. And it was always going to go up against All In. It's on NBC. The idea is that they are maximizing this day now with the world title. The big match is not on Netflix. It's on network television. So theoretically, it could draw a big number, just like Big Goldberg himself. Goldberg is due back for WWE on this Monday's episode of Raw. You'd imagine that the build to that match will start, although really it's already started. Goldberg and Gunther have had several spicy interactions in the past. Dave Meltzer in The Observer expressed his surprise that they would have this be a title match because of, you know, it's Gunther's last... Gunther, he's not retiring. It's Goldberg's last match, my friends. Sorry about that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. He'd also presumably be losing on his last match. Like, they're not going to put the World Heavyweight title on Goldberg in his last match, I don't think. So this is a wild piece of booking and a wild reason. It's actually kind of funny, really, when you think about it. Goldberg needs a world title match in his retirement. Look, I'm a big Goldberg mark. I rewatched the match where he dethroned Hollywood Hogan yesterday. It's a tremendous piece of business. Obviously, it's also 27 years ago. So, you know, but Goldberg's been training. He's gone over like how beaten up he is and how hard it is for him to even train for his last match. So he's putting the work in for sure. And Gunther is one of the best wrestlers in the world. So, you know, the pairing is pretty optimal, if you ask me. They obviously have the heat from their previous segments that they can capitalize on. I appreciate that Goldberg's not a universally popular dude. I wonder if maybe they'll beat Goldberg here and then maybe he'll squash someone on his way out. Maybe it's a true retirement match. Who knows? We'll see what comes of it. Come Saturday night's main event, we'll probably learn more on Raw. WWE hasn't officially announced that yet, by the way, but it has been reported that Goldberg will be there. But yeah, it's a really curious bit of business from Triple H, I think. I don't think putting a World Heavyweight title on this match makes him that much more intriguing. I don't think, personally. I think Goldberg's retirement match is enough of a hook. This is what's going on. Triple H has been making some interesting choices lately, hasn't he? He just took a picture with the politician guy with a funny voice. As soon as you do that, you piss off half your audience. It doesn't matter what side. Really interesting. A couple of brain farts from Paul Levesque as of late. But let me know what you think. Do you think adding the World Heavyweight title to this Goldberg match? Do you think that's good? Do you think that adds a lot of intrigue? Do you think it increases the draw? Do you think it increases the chances of Saturday night's main event doing a big number against All In? Let us know in the comment section below. Obviously, these shows might not go directly head-to-head, right? Because Saturday night's main event is in the evening, whereas All In Texas is in the afternoon. A rare early pay-per-view for us here in the UK. I'm very, very appreciative of that. But hey, we'll see how it goes. It's a wild world of wrestling. And we're going to talk now about WWE's highest paid wrestler. Or two of them specifically. Now, when it comes to these reports, we always say this, when it comes to wrestler pay, you should always take it with a pinch of salt. Because, this stuff doesn't usually get out there, and usually when it gets out there, it's nonsense. However, this is from the Wrestling Observer newsletter. It's not just from @Roman God Tribal Legend 54 on Twitter, who bought a blue tick and is now considered a source for some reason. It's none of that nonsense. It's the actual reporter. So hey, make of it what you will. And it is believable, to be fair. Dave wrote in the Observer that there are 7 people in WWE, performers, earning well over $5 million per year. And there are another 2 who might end up hitting that number this year as well. The highest paid person is The Rock. It's The Rock, obviously. And then it's Roman Reigns, apparently. So there you go. We don't have any other names from this. Dave did note that any stories emanating from Jonathan Coachman's podcast about TKO trying to ask Roman Reigns to take a pay cut or renegotiate his deal are false. So there you go. We spoke about that not too long ago, where we kind of took the piss out of it a little bit because it's really funny. But yeah, top 2 highest paid performers. Look, The Rock's barely there, but he's also The Rock. He's the most famous man in the world, pretty much. He might only show up once or twice a year, and sometimes it's not wholly productive, but he's also on the board. And he is the biggest mainstream crossover star that wrestling has ever produced, so it's understandable that he is the top paid dude. That board position gives him a bunch of power as well. And look, Roman Reigns has been, Cody has probably supplanted him as WWE's top guy since WrestleMania in Philadelphia last year. But that's primarily because Cody's been the world champion, was the world champion for ages. He dethroned him, and Roman hasn't been around a great deal. But yeah, from 2020 to 2024, Roman was the dude. He still is the dude. He's one of the biggest names in the entire sport. Total career transformation since coming back with Wreck Everyone and Leave and Tribal Chief and Bloodline and all of that stuff. So it's understandable. If you're talking 5 other people who are earning well over that, I'd imagine Cody is up there, right? You think so? Maybe a CM Punk, maybe a John Cena, obviously, for this year in particular. You can speculate on whoever the heck else. Seth the Chef, maybe? I don't know. But yeah, highest paid wrestlers in WWE. There you go. As always, pinch of salt on this one. But yeah, it's not like these are unbelievable names, right? He's not gone all due respect to Humberto, Berto, and Angel, but there is star power. If you said they were beating Cody Rhodes or something, it'd be easier to say that this is nonsense. But it's Roman Reigns and The Rock, obviously. Right, let's talk now about WWE's biggest benched wrestler. Literally the biggest. He's 7 foot plus. A giant of a man I'm a very big fan of. Omos has re-signed with WWE. And is insinuating that there might be some cool stuff down the pipe for him, down the road. So he told that it was gambling industry news that he was talking to. First time I think we've aggregated gambling industry news on the show here. But yeah, Omos was speaking about his WWE run, and I'll just read you the quote. Things are going very well. Can't complain. I'm really excited about what is to come. I've been training really hard and working on some new things, and I think it's going to be a really fun ride ahead, especially because I just signed a renewal with WWE, and I will be there for years to come. So when you talk about benched or unused wrestlers in WWE, Omos is probably the first guy you think of, because they haven't used him in forever. He was in Japan with Noah, obviously, this January. He left after 4 or 5 weeks. He hasn't been used by WWE since then, which to me is harsh because I think he rules. But also, I think there's a big missing piece of the wrestling puzzle in 2025, and I think that is giants. Giants just aren't really a thing in modern wrestling, and I think that kind of sucks, personally. I know we all got kind of sick of the Vince McMahon Giant of the Month stuff when he was, pushing... I don't want to slag off Great Khali too much because, perverse, fun man, the Great Khali. But people like that and, Mason Ryan and Jackson Andrews and Eli Cottonwood, all these big dudes, we all got sick of them for a while, right? But it's been ages since we've had a proper giant push in pro wrestling. Can we not get one right now with Omos? I think he rules. I really love the AJ Styles tag team in particular, but I like the MVP partnership as well and some of the singles matches they were running with him. Booker T said the other week that Omos is hard to push or put on TV because of his size. I think that is complete and utter nonsense. It's just, what are you talking about? A giant should be the easiest person in the world to book in pro wrestling. It's a really simple format. They are huge. They squash and destroy and crush people. They are built up as a force of nature, this unstoppable force. How on earth is anyone going to topple the giant? What are we going to do to get the big man down, to pin his shoulders to the mat? Who can beat this dude? And then you build someone up, a valiant babyface who does the impossible and beats them. The giant goes away for a little while. You build them up again and you find the next person that you want to put. It's not hard. It's not rocket science. It's really straightforward. And I believe that can work in 2025. In this era of parity, in this era of 20, 30-minute main events all the time and crazy counters and kickouts and high drama, a simple ass giant push can work so well and get over. It's completely different to anything else we're doing these days. And I think they should do it with Omos. Man, look, they just haven't used him at all, basically, and that makes me really sad. I love the dude personally. I hope he gets everything he wants from this next deal. Good news for him. I'm glad he's sticking around for a while. Maybe he goes back to Japan for a bit too. Who knows? That was fun. Love the little run with Jack Morris over there. Great stuff. Couldn't have picked a better person to pair Omos up with. Jack Morris is just so expressive as a wrestler. I think he'll end up in a major American promotion someday too. Just a complete charisma bomb of a wrestler. He's awesome. But yeah, shout outs to Omos. I hope you're back on TV soon, big man. Let's do it. It's not hard to book giants, guys. It really isn't. Should be a straightforward formula. Right, somehow this is probably the most bizarre story, because how the hell can a lizard have heat? But apparently it does. This is just, what's going on? What's going on in wrestling in 2025? What a world we live in, my friends. Wrestling Observer newsletter again here today. Mr. Iguana apparently has backstage heat in WWE. What a ridiculous situation. So there was an interview that went out with Mr. Iguana recently where here's a quote from the Observer. I'm there effectively, like literally I was in the Performance Center yesterday and they told me you're not going through NXT, you're heading straight for the main roster. We need you here because your shirt is the top seller in WWE and you're also the fastest rising star when it comes to action figures and trading cards. Dave wrote, he got heat for that immediately as well, as the video that was once up ended up being edited as soon as it came out with that part edited out. So yeah, they took that was gone. It's no longer there. The part where he's effectively saying he's going to the main roster before NXT, but apparently that got you'd imagine maybe NXT people going, hold on, how's the lizard jumping the queue? Oh, he's a lizard, he can jump very far. That is a pretty straightforward answer. He flicks his tongue at the rung on the ladder, he swings around. It's crazy. So all right, Mr. Iguana, he's been one of the guys in wrestling discourse for the past week since he debuted for WWE at Worlds Collide, caught the imagination of the American fans immediately, because of course he did. He looks cool, he's got a puppet lizard that he can flick off the floor and it lands on his shoulder, he sticks his tongue out and smiles, he's a funny, weird guy, he can work to a reasonable enough standard. Of course he got over in big 2025. So I'm not surprised at all. I mean, look, my own experience of Mr. Iguana was very limited prior to this. But you take a glimpse at him and you're like, yeah, American audiences, Western audiences, are going to pop for that. Western is a stupid comment. It's like the Mexico is like the same latitude, longitude. I don't know these words, but American audiences are of course going to go completely insane for Mr. Iguana. And also, like, look, my take on it is this: it's really simple. Yeah, the idea of paying your dues and going through developmental systems and all that stuff, yada, 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 it exists. At the same time, as soon as WWE brings out a lizard puppet for this guy on merch, it's going to sell insane. It's going to be the top merch seller of the year. Absolutely, 100%. The t-shirt is flying. There will be more. He will show up on Raw or SmackDown, do his lizard stuff, stick his tongue out. Everyone will pop. This guy, Joey Janela, tweeted, and I totally agree with him. I think it was last night that look, Mr. Iguana's going to be a millionaire by next summer. So look, you put people in positions depending on their overness. I don't think Mr. Iguana needs to pay his dues. What's a lizard going through the developmental system? A lizard can't work the ropes. Gosh, what a mess. I don't know, man. What a wild thing to even consider that the lizard man needs to pay his dues in NXT or whatever. Ultimately, right, I'm not in NXT, so I don't care if he pays his dues or not or goes through developmental. He's really popular. The bloomin' lizard is going to sell millions. He probably already bought a t-shirt. I don't know. And, you know, he's going to stay over for ages and ages. I want to see a heel lizard turn. What does he do with that? Does he turn into like a Komodo dragon and start eating people? I don't know. We've had enough eating people in pro wrestling, I think, between Lucha Underground and the monster of the pandemic. You remember the bin monster that almost ate the Viking Raiders? The War Raiders, the Viking Experience, whatever they were called at the time. Gosh, enough of that. But hey, look, thanks for joining me. I'm buggering off again now for a week or so. It's been a weird news day, but a fun one, I think. Check out this video that's on your screen right now. It's a complete history of the NWO. Great stuff. Speaking of Goldberg, he was heavily involved in the opposition of that stable in particular. So check this out. Great piece of work. I'll see you in a week. Bye.